early.
So, yeah, congratulations on being early, those of you who were. It's wonderful. My name's Michael McDowell. I'm part of the Radiance Sutras School of Meditation. I met Lorin getting close to 9 or 10 years ago here on the Sunshine Coast in Australia at a workshop where he and Camille came and did a workshop. And I've been engaged with the Radiance Sutras and instinctive meditation and Lorin and Camille since then. And it's a pleasure for me to be able to bring together to bring together two communities today: the Radiant Sutra School of Meditation and the Sing to Thrive community, Julia Williamson. So a quick intro for the Sing to Thrive community of Lorin. Lorin's been he'll go in a bit more, but he's been practicing meditation since 1968. And together with Camille, his partner, they've created the Radiant Sutra School of Meditation, and we share what's called instinctive meditation to the world, as many people as we can. And we run teacher trainings, and we have an online community and all of that type of stuff. Lorin will share you some of the fundamentals of instinctive meditation and how that will and it'll weave together with what Julia is going to share as well. And for the people from the
Ellie is doing it right. She's modeling laughing during meditation, which is exactly what I'm talking about. So Ellie, you already got the whole vibe.
She doesn't even know you're talking to her.
No. And for people,
I'm sorry for putting you on the spot. Yes. Go ahead, Michael.
Thanks, Lorin. For people in the Radiant Sutra School of Meditation who haven't heard of Julia's been working for 25 years or so in the world of using sound, your voice, music to rewire, reconfigure your brain to work through the healing that life requires sometime. So that's it from me. I'm going to hand over to you, Lorin, for 45 minutes, and then we'll have Julia share for 40 or 45 minutes, and then we'll have another half an hour or so just where we can jam.
Okay, so everybody, you can be sitting, standing and dancing, or lying down. And you can even lie down and go to sleep, or, because there are states we drift off into in meditation where it's like, am I asleep and dreaming, or just kind of deep? So give yourself permission to flow whatever you feel called to, like, oh, feel like I have to lie down, or sit and sit still, or sit and sway, like when you're listening to music. Lie down, stand up again. Go with your movement flow. We're going to be exploring this essential truth about what we call meditation, is that, in essence, what are we talking about here with yoga, meditation, tantra, mindfulness? It's attending to the music of life. This approach is one of the major modes of meditation going back thousands of years, with listening to the music of life, evoking the music of life, jamming with the music of life, improvising, listening to the universe, to creation singing to you, realizing, oh, life is singing me into existence, and singing along. So this set of approaches makes up many of the tens of thousands of different meditation techniques that have been developed over the past few thousand years. And in the ancient text, there's occasional comment like, God bless those people who don't love music. It's like, I hope they find something. Because for people who love music, it is, as you know, it's a pathway in to the heart and soul and to the divine. And we can be as informal with ourselves in meditation as we are if we're sitting alone in our room, just putting on music that we love, or with a group of friends, or at a concert. That informality with the self and free flowing, and the sense of what do you love. Now, when we go to a concert, the musicians, they play what they want or their set, and we'll flow with it. And then at home, we can put on music that we love, and that exact song in that order, in that volume. We can position ourselves in the room however our sound system is, and be giving ourselves that same freedom today. Now, these are what we'll be exploring today, are things that I've was taught as a teenager 56 years ago. I've tested it out. I've trained thousands of people. I've followed up. So these are things that you can take it and rock it. You can take what you're learning here today and dive in and learn from your own experience and share. If you're a teacher, you can share these things. So these are the time-honored and tested gateways.
Lauren, I'm sorry to interrupt. There's a couple of people have asked for you to increase your volume, increase the microphone level. So you can do.
Do I go into Zoom?
Can you hear me? Yeah, go into Zoom. Yeah. Zoom audio settings.
It's all the way on the max. Yet Zoom is in Zoom. The microphone input level is all the way. So the only thing I can change would be to put it on automatic. It's the slider is all the way up.
Sliders all the way up to the right. Okay.
Do I sound quiet to you, Michael?
It's normal for me, but yeah, a couple of people have said it's a little bit quiet. So
It's a little bit quiet, but when you spoke
not
just
too.
to Lauren, it definitely just.
Well, I could hold the mic. I could talk to the microphone like this.
Very professional.
That's right.
The people do that. They even hold. I was watching a podcast, and people were holding pretend microphones just to have that create that effect. All right.
Thank you.
I'll get to hold this cute little microphone. So we're going in through our sense of hearing, but music is not just the audio channel, the sense of hearing. We feel music in our body. So think of music that you love right now. Think of what's a piece of music that you would put on right now and just take a bath in, to rock out to. And notice, like some music, we feel like dancing to it. So there's all that movement sensing, rhythm sensing. And some music maybe evokes images. And what else? So there's hearing and feelings in the body, sensations in the body, and a sense of motion. And meditation, here's a thing to note and explore. Meditation is sensuous experience. That's what we're talking about. And it's mostly subtle, but there's a range of sensuous experience. So in practice, when we meditate, we could, for example, listen to really loud rock and roll and dance, or classical, be at a classical concert. And if we're close to the 100 musicians, it's really loud. And then after the piece ends, we could meditate and follow those incredible sensations of being bathed in such harmony, such majesty. So the senses are perceiving the music, hearing, and if we're watching a stage, we're also gazing and perhaps swaying. And then if we're remembering the music, we're hearing the music in our internal senses. And all of the senses have an inner aspect. We can see in the outer world, and then even with our eyes closed or open, we can have images in our inner world. And our eyes don't have to be closed for us to be visualizing. Like if you read stories to little kids, like say 5-year-olds, they'll be looking around the room, like seeing pirates and animals and magical creatures running around in space. So we can be seeing in the outer world and visualizing at the same time. We do this all the time. When we're meditating, we're attending to the free play of all of our senses. Hearing, if we're meditating with music, we're hearing, and we can start with external sound, and then whenever we feel like it, transition to internal listening, and then the internal listening goes with sensations. So when we're meditating, we're cultivating rich experience, rich, subtle experience. And along with this adoration of music as a doorway in to communion, to being refreshed, to refreshing ourselves, we know that music takes us into the depths of life, into the heart, and into a sense even of the divine, that there's a higher power, that here I am, like kind of bewildered, maybe feeling a little lost, tired, hurt, wondering. I'm just a little human being in this big universe. And music of all kinds somehow captured that mood and turns it into something sacred. Even regular pop songs will take a feeling of being hurt, and they make it so beautiful that people walk around chanting. And if you didn't know any better, if you're watching a concert, you might think people are singing holy songs, and that the lyrics might be, "If you are drowning, I wouldn't lend a hand." Like there's this Phil Collins song, and "Take Me Home," and the and the lyrics are so come from such a dark place, and musicians the world over have taken just hurt feelings and loneliness and sorrow and invite us in, and in the space of a couple minutes, that feeling is transmuted into something sort of golden, where we're glad to have a heart, we're glad to have a soul. We feel like it's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved. And the magic of music is right there. And in this sense, music is what's true. And when we take this approach to meditation, many of what we'd think of as our obstacles to meditation just dissolve. Because people don't talk about, like nobody says, "Oh, I put on my favorite Rolling Stones song or Taylor, what is it, Taylor Swift. I put MA, but I couldn't concentrate on it. I couldn't concentrate on it. People don't say that. And meditation can be that way. So surprisingly, in truth, what yoga and meditation and tantra have always been talking about for thousands of years is that meditation is a love affair with the life force, with the mysterious higher power, and that in one moment we're immersed in it like a bath. Another moment we're surrendered like we're asleep and dreaming. Another moment we're being electrified. Another moment we're melted into tears. And then another moment we're laughing. And then another moment we look at the sky or feel like wide open to space. And then in the next moment, we're just inside of ourselves, all cozy. That, like with music, each moment of meditation is an adventure, this continual flowing change of colors and tones and chords. And this is true even if we're meditating with some version of Om, and all mantras are actually versions of Om. Say we have a simple mantra like the Tibetans like mantras like Om, Ah, Hum. So let's take that Om, Ah, Hum sound and say that we're meditating with that. Well, what we actually will experience if we take this approach of listening to mantras as music and giving ourselves permission to improvise, to be spontaneous, to flow with our own inner adventure, what happens is that we'll feel that, for a few moments, this delicious relaxation. And then something happens and we're not hearing anything anymore. We're more hearing silence for a few moments. And then we're aware of vibrations in our body or sensations. And then we're daydreaming. And then we remember, oh, yeah, I'm meditating. This is the flow. And if you allow yourself to be as natural with yourself during meditation as you are, if you're just sitting, rocking out to your favorite piece of music, then you've actually already learned most of the major skills of meditation. I mean, and that is so great. If you think about it, of course it's that way. That's totally common sense. So let's take this approach and embrace this stunning idea that I'm in a love affair with the mystery of the life force, the higher power, the inner power, the outer power, the power of music. And I'm going to let myself be carried. I'm going to go on an adventure. And you're safe to go on an adventure inside yourself with meditation as music, just as you're safe to put on a song and listen to it for 3 or 4 minutes. You're being carried, and we welcome the changes that music puts us through. And our brains are continually reorganizing themselves. I love neuroscience. That they're finding so many delightful things every day. And as we give ourselves rich experience, as we allow ourselves to delight in the beauty of music, in the beauty of mantra, it's as if it feeds and nourishes all of our brain circuitry. And the brain is a fantastically intricate dance of electricity, always humming with the flow of life. So let's take a sound such as, oh, it could, and you make up your own variation. It just popped into my mind. Om, ah, You could use amen or hallelujah or any nonsense syllable you like. Just pick, just pick a sound that you enjoy for the moment, and let's play. So the verbal level is you whisper the sound to yourself, whatever it is. You could even whisper God or peace, harmony, ocean. You could make a phrase that has meaning, like, I'm embraced by the Holy Spirit, or I'm being held by God, or I'm safe, or safety, harmony, peace. So just pick any of those and then whisper that sound. Um, um, Safety, harmony. And just, it can be just the quietest whisper in the most leisurely way. Safety, harmony, peace, embrace. And at some point, you might get, quote, tired, unquote, of it. It's so much effort to actually move your mouth, just whisper the word, and you'll feel like letting it continue inside. And so just let's go with that. Now give yourself the freedom to be yourself. And what do you feel like attending to right now? Like, what is delightful to your attention? Is that sound you picked delightful? Has it changed into something else? Is there a feeling in your body after thinking those words, whispering, that is the quiet resonance, the quiet essence of what that sound, what that little 3-word prayer is? And is it delightful to think the sound again? Does it feel exquisite? So let's continue and let it roll. So invite the word that you selected, or the nonsense sound, or the meaningful sound. Invite it to occur to you. You could whisper it again, and then whisper it until you feel like it's, oh, that's too much work to actually make a sound. I want to just sit here and enjoy the sound inside me. And take this attitude of such informality that you're being with the mantra in the same way as if you're just enjoying yourself in your living room, listening to music that you love. Now, when we take this easy attitude, like of cherishing the music of life and giving ourselves freedom to improvise, like we pick up our little banjo or ukulele or flute or drum and just, or hum along, like if we're joining in a song that's going on. When we give ourselves this freedom, and freedom to be delighted, freedom to be ourselves, then attention ranges between many levels of perception and many levels of the senses. That hearing sometimes seeing imagery, feeling sensations in the body. And where attention goes, it blesses. Once we set our intention at the beginning of meditation that I'm attuning myself to the music of life, then whatever we're attending to, and we all have a lot of noise in our heads, like, oh my God, this unfinished project, that unfinished conversation, how do I deal with this? How do I get through my to-do list? How's my dog? You know, what about that person or project? Whatever arises, whatever comes, it wants your attention. And as you attend to it, it's being tuned. When we take the approach to meditation as if I'm attuning to the music of life, then this invokes our internal musician, the great musician, and we can feel tuning the vibrating strings that make up our subtle anatomy. We'll feel, oh, that bing, bing, ding, 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 ding. We feel places that are slightly out of tune, and spontaneously there's these adjustments, which is very similar to what musicians do when they're tuning a guitar or violin or piano. They're tuning the strands of living, loving energy that make up our body, tuning this instrument to play the song of our life, the song that we're here to live. And so in the adventure of meditation, we'll range from hearing the different levels of acoustics and subtle resonance to feeling our feet or our pelvis, our belly, our shoulders, our throat, our forehead, the skin, our muscle. And as we attend, whatever needs attention is being tendered to. It's spontaneous healing. One of the things I love about meditation is that it tunes me so that after meditation, I take so much more joy in listening to music. It's like I'm ready and I'm tuned to hear the music of life even more. And as we bathe in pleasure, our innate love of music, the body is free to heal itself and recharge as it does during sleep. And this quiet inner listening to the music of life is one of the most effective gateways into what we could call the deep parasympathetic. It's deep recovery, where we're giving the body a safe place to go full on into recharging, repairing, restoring, recovering. And like the whole world of ours, repair, review, rejuvenate, recover, recharge. And this is what the body does when we're truly restful. And it happens during sleep. And when we would have meditators come into a lab and do simple meditations like what I've been describing, even beginners go into a state of rest deeper than deep sleep in about 3 to 5 minutes, which is quite astounding. And this has been published and replicated over and over again for more than 55 years. Let's chat a little bit. Write in the chat window if you feel like it. And what mantras did you make up? And what kind of experiences did you have? And if you feel like it, you can stay in your zone of peace. You can selfishly ignore what I'm saying and just be dreaming and daydreaming and grooving to your inner music. Because some people will feel like communicating. And when we're meditating, often every minute, sometimes faster, minute and a half, 3 minutes, we'll go like deeply restful. And then we'll like, hey, what time is it? Do I have time to keep on meditating? Oh yeah, I can keep going. We'll flow in a rhythm between deep relaxation and inner. And what time is it? Where am I? What's happening? What's my to-do list? And that's a natural flow. So when I say something like, feel free to type in a chat window, some people will go, yeah, da 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 da. And other people look like, no, don't bother me. I'm like, oh, I'm in heaven. That's why I frame it that way, because we each oscillate between inner and outer in a different periodicity. Let's see what's going on. Grace and pleasure. Grace. I've never used grace as a mantra. Grace. Abba. Mamma mia. Let's see. Hum. I found it took on different tempos and highs and lows and soft. Yeah. When we take this approach, which is the opposite of concentration, the way that I was talking for the last half hour is about as opposite of concentration as you could get. And when we take this approach, which we could say a musical gateway, then even a simple sound like hum or ahum can take on the qualities of all rock music, all classical music, all like Indian drone chants, like tabla and the ocean and silence. Like a simple sound can actually, as it pulsates and changes, and as we allow hearing and touch and motion to come into play, the simplest sound can take on all these qualities. So, like when in my teacher training, I was sitting in a pitch black room for 28 days, and after about 2 weeks where I was just unstressing the whole time, just reviewing every trauma in my whole life, the last 2 weeks, I was just listening to the pulsation of silence. And over the years, I might be listening to a simple sound just in my daily life. And there's like a richness. Sometimes it's like classical music, and other times like passionate rock and roll. And so it's not so much the magic of any particular mantra, it's the magic of listening with adoration, the way we do to music that we love. So, should we have some questions, or do you want to wait till later, Michael? People won't remember their questions.
Yeah, I think it'd be great if anybody's got anything they want to ask right now.
So bring it on.
Bring it on.
We just did maybe half an hour of, we could call it a guided meditation. What do you remember of what you experienced? How do you like what you were experiencing? What was your pulsation like? What did you discover? Anybody? Oh, thank you, Christine. Oh no, Kurt. Kirstine, Kirstine. That's great. Thank you, Kirstine. Are you too zoned
Oh,
out to even say anything?
Can I say something? I think that's what I wanted to say is it's actually hard. I'm really good at engaging in group chats, but because we're diving so deep within, I don't really feel as much like talking.
Yeah.
It's like I have to jump out of that place.
It jumped out of that place. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
the tone I was communicating, it seems to me like I was really communicating luxury. Wasn't that? Is that something luxurious?
Yeah, I think it's associating sound with pleasure.
The pleasure.
And
Yeah. So when I started in 1968, I was like just a teenager, and nobody was talking about meditation that I ever heard. The Beatles had started meditating, but I was just a loner surfer, and I didn't know anybody, and so the only thing I had was the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. Well, first I had just being in a science experiment and sitting in a pitch black room for almost 3 hours a day every afternoon for weeks, being wired up to a brainwave machine and with no instructions whatsoever. And then I encountered the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra with this 112 different doorways and many of the techniques that feel like the way I was talking. It would just come in like life is right here. The dance of life is right here in your body at all times. Your breathing is flow and rhythm. Your heartbeat, the pulse of your heart is the beating of the drum. The every bit of sensory information coming in, seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, tasting, moving, is the universe singing its song to you. Be here to receive, be here to perceive. And each sense opens up into the mystery of creation. And then it was later that I was exposed to different meditation teachings. And so I was able to meditate and be delighted, just go deep into meditation immediately. It's kind of hard to arrange these days to find someone who hasn't already mentally tried meditation and failed at it. Because meditation is subjective, it's not like swimming or playing tennis. People don't, let's say there's a skill like pickleball. Do people play pickleball in Australia? No, it's a thing here. I don't know how. Let's just take tennis. People don't say like I mentally visualized playing tennis for 5 seconds and I hit the ball into the net, so I failed. Like they don't say I tried to play tennis and I failed. I couldn't do it. When all they did was that they thought of a tennis court, they visualized failing, and so I gave up. But meditations is an internal game. So what people do is they mentally visualize trying to stop thoughts, fail, and then say, "Oh, I guess I failed at meditation. There's another thing I'm bad at." So these days, people have a lot of unlearning to do when they approach meditation. Like, it can't be that simple and healthy. It can't. Meditation can't be a love relationship with the music of life. What are you talking about? What an idiot. That's forbidden. I've been getting that a lot in the last 30 years. It was so easy to teach meditation in the 70s. So it's an unexpected side effect. So what, come on, bring it on. I'm just chatting away here because you're on asking questions.
Lauren, there's the glue BGLEW has a comment there.
Belinda, her name is.
Is it Belinda?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
The
Yeah.
glue.
The glue.
Yes.
It's Belinda. Hang on a sec. Can you hear me?
Yes, I don't like your astrologer for saying that you would lose yourself. Yeah, unless he knew you and said that you're like borderline. Let's see, where are you, Belinda? Let's see.
Can you see me? I hit video. I don't know if you can see me.
No, do you know how to raise your hand? Oh, no, I see you now. We see the top of your head. Yeah.
Oh, good. Here we are.
Like those cartoons where you see the top of somebody's head. Yeah.
Yes, so when I was probably 21, I had all my astrological charts done.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very in-depth thing of many, many pages, which unfortunately I threw away sort of like 10 years later. But one of the things that really stuck with me was the fact that he said with my ascendance and numerological charts, that transcendental meditation would not be sensible for me because I could lose the difference between the day-to-day life and reality. I would lose myself.
Well, that could be true. It's very interesting. This does happen. And like are you in Australia?
Yes, I am.
Do the Australians use the word fey, F-E-Y?
Yes,
Like
well,
English people do?
the English do. Yep.
Like some people, what is fey? Does that mean that they're close to the spirit world? Like they could
Isn't
be
it-
captured, they could
isn't
run
it
off with elves.
fairy?
Lori, do you know?
Think of fae as a form of fairies or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, that's what I
There
know
are-
it as, is a fairy. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's think about it as music. Like in music, there's this paradox. We feel like we lose ourselves in music and we find ourselves. This is the paradox. And we feel this in music, and then we feel safer to lose ourselves because we long to lose ourselves in music. Like we dive in so completely that we're carried away and we find ourselves. And music is constructed for that. And we're each wired differently. And some people like are so spiritual that they could lose themselves in meditation, and particularly styles of meditation where there's a sense of rigid rules or a cult-like thing. Yeah, it does happen. That's very interesting. What year was that? The 80s?
Oh,
When
I
were
would
you in
have
your
to,
early?
I would have to say that would be late 70s.
Late
That would be.
70s? Well, it could. I take it back that my disapproval of your astrologer, it could be right. And this is a difference between meditation, the meditation schools, and music, in that there's a healthy wisdom in music. Not necessarily if we're listening to heavy metal and you have to snort a lot of cocaine and be stoned and be on mushrooms at the same time, all at the same time, in order to really go with it. But in general, with music, there's a healthiness and a balance Whereas it's true now that that with meditation schools, they often lose their common sense, and they really do believe that you should surrender your life to the guru. So yeah, I'm coming around to your astrologer's point of view. And if you're a teacher, you'll meet people. If you're in practice as a music therapist, Julia, what do you call yourself? Would you say you're a music therapist or?
A transformation voice coach. It
Yeah.
is music therapy. It's all of the above.
So actually, if you're in private practice, you actually will meet people. I actually meet them all the time. People who they come and find me, and they'll at some point they'll say, I feel like I lost myself in this meditation practice. It was good for a while, and then it was just like being in the wrong kind of prison, or wearing shoes that are too small, or wearing a corset, wearing a shirt that's too small and I can't breathe. And then they go through a process of retrieving themselves. That's very interesting. So this is an area that needs to be developed, because meditators get injured just like runners and swimmers injure their shoulders, and you can get sunburned, and runners have tendon things and feet things, and meditators can lose themselves. And it's a paradox, because it's a great feeling to whatever we call it, melting into music, being carried. Like, when you think, what term would you use for being completely carried away by music or thrilled?
Exquisite, like it's
Exquisite.
mm,
Yeah.
like ecstasy, and you have no edges.
Yeah. And so some people, meditation, it dissolves their edges, it dissolves their boundaries, and they lose themselves in daily life. The therapy for this is to do a boundary meditation at the end, where you condense, like, I'm me, and this is great, I'm an individual. The meditation traditions tend to overemphasize the cosmos, and the language of meditation is quite toxic, in that there's a denigration of ego, which is not actually really part of the essential meditation teachings. It's just come to be thought of that you're supposed to reduce your ego. Whereas for regular people, ego just means the sense of I am. And the meditation techniques will overemphasize dissolving your sense of individuality and your boundaries and your preferences. So yeah, there's a lot that's toxic. Blocking thoughts and denigration of the individual identity, those are pervasive in many of the meditation schools. And now I'm getting to be more and more in awe of your astrologer. So because most of us don't have access to someone who would study us in depth like that and develop a meditation practice that's exactly for us, you have to be your own diagnostician and follow what you love and test it. Lori, yes.
I think her last question was, how do you ensure a safe place? And I'm thinking of some of the things that you've taught me. And And one, I really love the idea of, you have suggested before you even start your meditation to do like a Tai Chi, Tai Chi like. So it doesn't have to be Tai Chi, but just your own movement practice, and create sort of a space for yourself that feels like you've created a boundary, so that it's your boundary to not flying
Yes.
away into nothingness or whatever. And then
Yes.
the other thing that I love that you have us do sometimes is feel the embrace of the gravity of Earth, so that it kind of grounds us, and we feel as if we're being held by Mother Earth. And hopefully that's not traumatic for anybody. It might be, I guess, if you fell into a cave or a well when you were young, but just that embrace of the earth, of the goodness of the earth. So those two things came to mind when she asked about ensuring a safe place.
And what Lori said, the subtle movements at the beginning that with the breath we're basically dancing the flow of breath. The life force flows into me. The breath flows in and it flows out. That's a minute or two of that changes everything. And then, like Lori's saying, I'm here on earth and I give thanks for the earth. So even a minute of Tai Chi with the breath, or moving with the breath, in Sanskrit it's called mudra, and then honoring the earth, I give thanks for this spot, and then indulge or enjoy the meditation, and then at the end return to the breath and the ground. And then the way to be safe is you'd meditate, say, 5 minutes, get a delicious 5-minute meditation, and then see how you feel afterward. And then if that feels good, go to 8 minutes, and then 10. And then that feels good, then, and you can tell afterward. The way to judge your meditation is afterwards. How do I feel afterwards? And then maybe go up to 10 minutes or 12. Always having an entrance where I give thanks for this breath, the flow. I'm centered in the flow of breath. I'm centered in this field of gravitation that the earth is holding me. Always begin and end with that. And then if it all is going well, then you could go up to about 20 minutes say in the morning or before dinner. And then if that goes well and you just feel like, yeah, I'm functioning a little bit better, then you could meditate twice a day. And you just check. You just check each time how you're doing. And your friends can tell, and you can tell. The trick is, it's how do I feel a half an hour after meditating? Am I having a better day? And if after a couple of days you're not noticing just like a 1% difference, then maybe use a different approach. Maybe because some people need to just walk. Some people aren't ready to sit down, just walk outside. Other people need to either be walking like vigorously or lying down to meditate. A lot of people, they're over sitting, like no more sitting. Some people don't like to be inside. When they sit to meditate, they realize, I don't want to be inside. I want to be outside. They suddenly realize. And then some people need meditation to be like fast music, moving music for a while. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And other people need it to be like languorous music. Go ahead, Karen. No, with a silent O.
Lauren,
Corin. How do you say your
Corinne.
name? Corin.
Corinne, yeah.
Corinne.
Yeah, Lorin, I was wondering if you could say anything on I'm about to do a 10-day Vipassana sit,
And I was wondering if you could say anything about how I could, sort of look after myself in that very rigid and dogmatic kind of
Well,
environment.
it's a world resource, the Vipassana teachers and their facilities, and they hold space for that. And um, they haven't ever gotten the memo about protect your knees. you you don't want people to injure their knees, and because the cross-legged pose is not good for most people. And so give yourself the permission to sit in a chair, and you can even just ask for a chair. I have to sit in a chair. But don't be apologetic. I'm going to sit in a chair. And even though they say, like, sit still, you could do tiny invisible. So rebel invisibly, like by doing teeny tiny postural adjustments. Because in reality, the idea of stillness is an illusion. The body is always moving. Our muscles, even as we sit upright, our muscles are always vibrating to keep us sitting upright. It's a dance. The body is dance. And then realize that nobody can see what you're experiencing. So you could be sitting there imagining being at your favorite concert. Like Michael and I talk about rock and roll all the time and bands. I'm always discovering a band that he's known about forever. And because I've kind of been off in meditation land. I was there, I was sober, and I was clean and sober in the 60s. So I was like the only person not stoned. So, but I missed a lot of the concerts. So I'm just discovering things now. So we're always talking about rock and roll. Well, you can always be sitting there pretending to be like, but secretly you're listening to your favorite rock and roll in your mind. And no one will know. Or if they are clairvoyant enough to see, they'll be cool with it. Yeah, so keep on giving yourself freedom. It's a great resource to have that container to be with yourself in that intense way. And one of the Vipassana teachers years ago said something that's really, really great. He'd been diligently doing Vipassana, I think for like 10 years. And he finally realized, oh, instead of like that idea of focusing the way the meditations are blah, 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 focusing, he realized that being interested. I'm interested in the sensations of the breath right here. And it changes everything. And in meditation, the skills are so subtle, they're so tiny, that simply shifting your technique from the idea of focusing to, oh, I'm interested in the flow of breath. It's a different universe. Stephen Levine gets credit for that. And that's what's so wild about meditation, is that we're here in our inner symphony orchestra, and the teeniest shift of attention like that, oh, I'm interested, or I would say I'm delighting in the flow of breath. I'm in awe of this miracle that I'm breathing without noticing it. Yeah. So just keep on giving yourself subtle freedom like that. And I'd love to hear from you afterward. Send me a note.
We can just quickly hear from Joelle, and then we'll move on to invite Julia to share her
Yeah.
voice stuff. Yeah.
Hi, Joelle.
I'm sorry, I was muted. Hi, everyone, and Lorin. I just wanted to respond as well to the question of Karen or Corinne. You taught very early on, very, very early on in my training with you in instinctive meditation that there is an instinctive and natural flow of every single meditation we ever do, whether it's 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and having expectations that don't allow us to enjoy the juice of this flow. Thoughts come in and then they leave. They pass through us, and we may linger in our body or our breath. We may linger with a contemplation, with a word, with a mantra. That's a natural flow. And I think you've also mentioned that many renunciate styles are about fighting the instinctive natural flow of meditation. So I that's just adding on to what you've taught me in the past. Thank you.
Yeah, and we've all been really tired and grumpy, like so that everything is an interruption. And it's like a lot of the past meditation teachings were by people that are just in that mood, which we all have had, like just so grumpy and tired. It's like everything is an interruption. And we've also had the experience of being like, if we're at a party or at a concert and everyone's standing around dancing, we're just all enjoying the music. You could, if your nerves are frazzled, just get everybody's interrupting me. Those people, that person over there is dancing, they're rocking out to the music, and that person over there is sitting still, and they're bothering me. And that person over there is wearing, I don't think that her red tie-dye t-shirt goes with her hair color, and that bothers me. We could take the attitude that everything bothers me. And we also know the experience of just being in a place where there's dogs running on the beach, there's little kids running around, there's people with music playing, the surfers are over there, or somebody's barbecuing, and it's all wonderful. And it's take your pick. In meditation, we're cultivating that wonderful approach where we're just perceiving, here I am in the midst of life. For people that have a house and a job and responsibilities and have to like put food on the table, and in a way we could experience like everything is an interruption and a distraction, or everything is fantastic. It's just all part of this ongoing party. Like the dogs always want something. The cats, they always want something. Somebody's always coming up saying meow, woof, or wagging their tail. And we can have the attitude of this, how wonderful that life is happening all around me, that there's the music of life. And it's funny that here we are in the modern world, and that we would even care what are the techniques of a monk living in Tibet in the year 900 AD. It's so funny that we would even care what their techniques are, but we do. Yeah, and everyone is. It's out there. So Julia, let's. I'm handing the
Oh, thank you.
the baton to you. And thank you so much for arranging this. It's so fun to be with you and all your people. And this is reminding me of how important the musical doorway is.
Thank you, Lorin. That was delightful. I went so deep and I thought, hang on, pull yourself together, Jules. You've got to talk here. And when you spoke about just a little while ago, you said the word delightful. I remember writing a mantra, which I've been doing for the last 20 years. Like I create positive opposites to what say I've got an issue around something, and have found this technique works really well. And I wrote this mantra and I sang it, but then the word delightful came in. And when I sung that word, the energy of that word was so different. The sound landed in me, and I was creating the sound, but the feeling of that sound, because every word we utter, every sound we make is creating a pattern in the field, in our field. And so being really mindful of not judging, if you know, like you said before, we all get cranky, we all have good days and bad days. It's just being really aware of the sounds that we're making with intention. And the really important thing that I want to impart today is the importance of authenticity, because that authenticity measures on the emotional frequency scale higher than love. When I first heard that, I thought, oh, well, of course it does, because it's the highest form of self-love. Because when we're not speaking authentically, then that sound lands on, everyone feels, we all feel, and subconsciously we're discerning and working out what feels right to us and what doesn't. But when something is fully authentic, the code of that lands so deeply within us that we just know it's true. And it bypasses the mind. And going on from what you were teaching just then, it's like allowing that authentic voice to emerge from us. Because we're all a product of our beliefs. We're all, we've all got fear-based beliefs or love-based. Because for me, that's it. There's two ways to live in this world. It's either in a state of fear or it's in a state of love. And looking at when we do get triggered and where is that really coming from, and then really looking at it and saying to yourself, what is this? Okay, deep down, I reacted this way, but it's because I feel scared, or it's because I feel rejected, or it's because I feel unloved. And where does that come from? And then when we recognize these limiting beliefs that we have, what I've been doing is creating a positive opposite, but then singing it. Because with singing comes a whole stack of stuff it's a whole myriad of benefits that heal the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies. And the key with singing it is that the brain automatically triggers the production of feel-good chemicals. And so whatever we're focusing on and singing about, we're creating a neural pathway for that. But with the singing and all these beautiful, the serotonin, the oxytocin, the endorphins, that consolidates the neural growth. And in as little as 21 days, science has shown that we can remap the brain with a new thought pattern. So they did these, Norman Doidge, the doctor Norman Doidge did tests, and they were seeing in as little as 21 days, new brain maps consolidating. Because if you can sing something or do something, repeat a mantra for 3 days, and it will be there, but it will eventually fade off because it's not being used. But if we do a practice with this singing and singing a positive mantra, we're literally creating new brain maps that remain in there. And I've worked with thousands of people now, and it happens to me all the time. I wake up in the morning and I've got a song going through my head. And 25 years ago, all I could sing was sad songs because I was going through my own healing journey. And now I'm singing just all positive stuff and what feels right to me in the moment. Because every day is different, because we're constantly dancing with this, with life. So we're, like you said, some days we feel great, some days it's easy to meditate. And I must say, my technique to go deep is usually singing first. And I discovered that with my own singing, with running singing circles, but it really was a deeper experience when I started doing Kundalini yoga and singing mantra. And then I was noticing, wow, this is fantastic. I'm really deep. And again, like for Belinda, just saying that really coming back to the here and now, feeling the earth between my feet, looking at my hands, drinking water, eating food, that all brings us down into our bodies and helps us to ground and be centered. So I thought it would be nice today to look at, for everyone to go within. So if we all just close our eyes, and I feel extremely relaxed after using those techniques that Lorin just shared with us. And asking your heart, like if there's one thing in your life, that you're holding back on, where you're not really speaking your truth, because it's that very thing that will be sabotaging you and creating disharmony, dis-ease in the physical body, in the mental body, in the emotional body, and in the spiritual, because it stops the flow. This flow of our authentic voice, our authentic sound, gets constricted when we have judgment around something or a fear around something. So really asking yourself, what is the one area of my life where I'm still holding back? I'm not being truly authentic. And then I would say to you to physically write that down and just love it, because there'll be a reason for that. There's always a trauma response. No matter what we do, even if we're just procrastinating, that is literally a response to a fear that we have. So not judging anything, but just accepting it and loving it, and this is where we're at, but being honest with ourselves and going, okay, well, what would I like? And then creating a positive opposite to that limiting belief, that limiting story that you've been telling yourself, to then start remapping, because your body starts to do so many things on so many levels when we have these positive thought patterns. The brain is, all the feel-good chemicals. But when we're singing and sounding or humming, like vocal toning, we're massaging the vagus nerve. We're massaging every single organ in our bodies. And why do we call them organs? What's an organ? It's a musical instrument. Our language is so precious because it's a pattern. And a lot of our language has been distorted and manipulated. And it's really about us becoming super aware of how something feels and just understanding a few key things around what words we're using, because essentially you're creating a word spell. This is a pattern that's in the field, but the field is us, because the field is emerging from us. And this is some amazing work that Greg Braddon has been doing this year around, they're actually really being able to back with science now that the field is us. It's emerging from us. So what do you want to create in your field? Understanding that we have mirror neurons in the gut, the heart, and the brain. And when we start delighting, imagining, focusing, but like a soft focus, not that determined I have to make this happen, but a gentle, loving, soft focus on, yeah, that would be really delightful to have that in my life, to feel safe in the world, to feel like I'm more than enough, to feel like I am lovable. Because so many of us have got, by degree, these belief systems that where we tell ourselves we're not good enough, we're not worthy, or we're not safe in the world, or if we have something, like for example, if we have a lot of money, we won't be safe. All these little belief systems are creating an energetic pattern that then is affecting the field and affecting what we are conscious or what we're manifesting. So I'm inviting you to think about when we get ourselves into these high vibrational states, to then, with intention, focus on what you want to create in your life, but it's really seeing yourself as that. So would anyone like to share a certain belief or a story or something where they know they're holding themselves back? Because everything in our life is a mirror. Your life will be mirroring back to you whatever your belief systems are, because we're all a product of our beliefs and we're all co-creating all the time. So if you were someone that was thinking, I'm not good enough, then I would be saying to you, okay, reframe that, rephrase that, and it's I am more than enough. And then if you put a song to that or melody to that, which my daughter has, which I'm going to share with you now, it becomes a really powerful statement, and that this becomes part of your meditation practice. So before, when Lorin invited us to choose a word, it could just be a small group of words that you're singing to yourself. And eventually, you won't even need to make the sound because it will be happening in your mind. You'll be hearing it because it does develop what's called auditory recall. And just looking at what Adele has written here, exactly Adele. Every soul has its own song that evolves over time. Our DNA is the music. It's the antenna. It's got the God particle. We all have our own unique tone, signature tone. Think of the word signature, sign of nature, and the tone. We all have a signature tone. And so it's finding that signature tone that is for you, because we all have it. And using your own voice, your voice is your very own God-given healing tool. And you have access to that 24/7. Absolutely. And it's getting in the habit of using it, because our habits, they come from our belief systems. And when we can interrupt a limiting belief and replace that with something really positive and self-loving, that starts to have a huge effect on the choices we make and what we think, and then what we manifest in the world. It is like a barcode, Kirstine, because that's exactly what we are. We've all got a unique tone. So Sue has shared here, putting myself out there for recognition. Hence no photo yet on Sing to Thrive and Facebook. And usually, that will be either because we don't feel safe. Maybe we were attacked in the past when we did put ourselves out there. There's underlying things there that if you sit with, and I just loved Michael's approach with the instinctive meditation, because you're just allowing the authenticity, the truth of your heart, your body, because it holds a score and it knows what it is. Keeping the head out of it and staying there with the heart and allowing it to let the truth emerge. And you you will either remember some sort of event that happened where you've taken on a belief that it's either not safe or that you're not good enough, or we've got a lot of stories. We're very good at creating stories, humans. So let me give you this little song. It's 4 lines, and Madeline, is your good mic plugged in? Do you want to sing that for us? Madeline is the other half of Sing to Thrive, a mother-daughter team, and we've been doing this for a very long time. And this was a mantra that she wrote because she was having a few struggles, and I use it in singing classes because everything we do, we also add harmonies to it. Because it's more fun to sing, but it also develops your musical ear, and it also is creating more tones because harmonies stack. And so the sacred geometric patterns are stacking, and that's flowing through your body. So you up for that, Maddie? Sorry, I just put you on the spot.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Shall I sing it? Should we just go
Sing
over
it.
it a few times, and then if you feel like joining in, you're welcome to.
And we'll just see how we
So
go
the
because your
statements are,
internet's a little bit
enough.
dodgy. See how we go because your internet's a little bit dodgy.
Okay. So the statements are, I am enough, I earn enough, I live enough, I am enough. And they repeat. And we've got the birds singing with me today. So let's see how we go. I am enough, I earn enough, I live enough, I am enough, I am enough, I earn enough, I live enough, I am enough, I am enough, I earn enough, I live enough, I am enough, I am enough, I earn enough, I live enough, I am enough, I am enough, I earn enough, I live enough, I am enough, I am enough, I earn enough, I live enough, I am enough, I am enough, I earn enough, I live enough, I am enough, I am enough, I earn enough, I live enough, I am enough.
I am enough, I earn enough, I live enough, I am enough, I am enough, I earn enough, I live enough, I am enough, I am enough, I earn enough, I live enough, I am enough, I am enough, I earn enough, I live enough, I am enough. So just go within for a moment and feel those statements. I am enough. I earn enough. I'm abundant. So feel the abundance. Feel the gratitude for the abundance. I live enough. I don't hold myself back anymore. I'm living life. I am enough. And what you're saying there, essentially, at the core of that statement is, I believe I have what it takes to create a great life. Now that is massive because that would be the number one thing, I believe, that holds us all back from going for what we really want, that passionate, that inner drive, that inner passion. And I can truly say to you from my heart, when I started living my purpose, in other words, the the messages that were emerging from me, the desires that were emerging from me, the things that I really wanted to do, but really believed that I wasn't good enough and I couldn't do them. Once I stepped into that and just stopped letting those limiting beliefs affect me and doing the work around shifting those, not only was I more joyful, my health improved 100-fold. I've always had, from childhood, liver issues. I had kidney issues. I had skin issues. I was a very moody, temperamental, unhappy, angry child. And there were lots of reasons for that. And I've done lots of work around clearing that. And it's not about allowing, the things that happen to us, or that, we're co-creating all the time. Our soul chooses our lessons. It's like not allowing bad things to define us and going, okay, I'm learning and growing from this situation. And this is what I want to do. This is how I want to live my life. And this is how we are going to birth this new paradigm, this new earth. Because we're all here. If you're on this call, there is no doubt in my mind that you are awake to what's going on in the world and to how important it is that we focus on that soft focus that Lorin talks about, that we're focusing on what we want to create. Because the world, we are creating all the time, the world. The field is emerging from us, and our voice is such a huge factor in this, because as soon as we utter something that is not authentic, what do? We abandon ourselves. What happens when someone asks you something and you're in the pattern of people pleasing and you say yes, but you really wanted to say no? What are you doing? You're abandoning yourself. You're rejecting yourself. You're rejecting your truth and your wishes and not making yourself important, because you are the most important person in your world. When you can love yourself and accept unconditionally wherever you're at, every day is different. Some days we have crap days, other days we feel amazing. And it's all part of the dance of life. We're all dealing with lots of different frequencies. And so ideally, it's about creating the environment. Now, Bruce Lipton talks about this. Epigenetically, our cells are responding to our environment. So when you can, because we're a product of our beliefs, when you can deal with the limiting beliefs and look at replacing those, singing into existence a new framework of positive thought patterns, self-loving, and then if you can surround yourself with really uplifting, inspiring music that's got the beautiful frequencies that feed and nurture our cells, what are you doing? That's an act of self-love. And your meditation will just naturally improve because you're holding yourself in a higher vibration. Because when we are still functioning from, and we're always, the subconscious programming, we all have it. And so, and it's not about judging what happened or how bad it is or whatever. It's like, okay, wow, I've got this pattern. How can I transcend this? How can I really learn to turn it around and make my life more joyful? So that's a great practice, to identify what you believe is sabotaging you and causing you pain or sort of any sort of suffering or anxiety, and creating a positive opposite to that. It's very empowering. Your language will always help you feel better. It affects your energy within minutes. And music does that. Now, the other thing that I would be offering for you to do, so the first one is the positive opposite mantra, and put your own music to it. I'm going to give you another song in a moment that's super fun, and I use a blues scale, and I only play the ukulele, but it's fun. It's so much fun. But it's really So I lost my train of thought. So that's the positive mantra. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to share with you was vocal toning. So what we've seen, I created these color and sound activations, and we know that sound has a frequency and color has everything is energy. Everything has a vibrational frequency. So you've got, for example, the color red, and then you've got the note of C. And then you stack those together, and on top of that, you're stacking your voice. So we did these tests with these activations, and it took 3 minutes we took live blood analysis where the blood was clumped and coined. Within 3 minutes, the blood cells are separated. You've got free flowing blood. And this is what the voice is capable of, because it's your signature tone, it's your signature sound. So yes, you can be creating positive songs, but just humming, which is vocal toning. You're just breathing deeply into the belly. You're keeping your lips softly together and your jaw relaxed, teeth apart. So just practice that with me now, and let's notice how you're feeling now. So just go within and take it in a snapshot. And then when you're ready, I want you to focus on seeing yourself living your best life, where the world is just harmonious and joyful and fun, and you are in thriving health and happy and adventurous and all the things that you want to be. And as you're focusing on that, I want you to vocal tone with me. Taking a deep breath. Few more. Stay within, breathing normally, and just notice how you feel. And see if you can become aware of your energy body, your aura, or what they're now calling in science our biofield. Some of you might notice a vortex of energy happening. It might just feel calmer, might have a different texture to it. And when you're ready, just gently opening your eyes. That's extremely effective. If anyone wants to share in the chat, please do. That is a really effective technique if you are stressed. I tell you now, if you're stressed and you need to calm yourself down quickly, the humming massages the vagus nerve. So then it switches on the parasympathetic, which is then shutting down fight, flight, and freeze. And you know what's fascinating about this? I've had one client case study in particular. She, as a child, was sharing with me that she would, when her father would come home drunk, He'd be away for months on end, and then he'd come home and he'd be drunk, and it was very violent and very scary. And she would hide herself in the cupboard and she'd rock herself. So there's the movement, but she'd hum. Now her body, herself, innately knew to do that. Start humming, because that is what massages the vagus nerve and just helps to calm us and bring us back to a bit more of a neutral space where we can think clearly, because as soon as we've got cortisol and adrenaline running through the bloodstream, our brain fog happens. And again, this is where voice, singing. And if you are someone that likes to walk, and that's me, walking and singing, I can bring myself back to a neutral, calm space very quickly. I'm the type of person that loves movement, but I also do relish stillness. If I didn't have to do this call, I would still be sitting in where Lorin left me. That was just divine. I felt so peaceful. And again, that was just using sound and a few key words that are important to me at the moment. So the positive mantra, the humming, and I would love to show you how to give yourself a little rewire the brain session. So this song, I wrote this song probably about 8 years ago, and we went into the studio, and we've got a couple of albums of songs there where it's all positive music, all positive words, life-affirming lyrics, layered with beautiful harmonies, thanks to my amazing daughter. And lots of people that sang with me over the years came in and sang on these songs. So we didn't get in random professional musicians, and we used people that really connected with this music and that were so open to this. Because when I first started doing this back in 2007 with my first singing and healing school, I really wasn't sure how this was going to land. I knew that I was using it with private clients, but when I started bringing the life-affirming lyrics into singing circles, everyone loved it. And it really surprised me, because I thought, oh, it felt a bit cheesy coming from someone who did rock. You know, I sang gigs for 10 years, and that whole journey was really me freeing my voice, because I had so many issues around not being perfect, not being good enough, fear of rejection. So this process works. I'm living, breathing proof of that, and so many people I've worked with. So this song, I am going to play a song, and you're going to close your eyes. And I want you again to use that same method of, and it doesn't have to be on top of a mountain. You can be in your favorite place, like the beach, just wherever you love being. And just see yourself in thriving health. And I want you to see yourself speaking in freedom and singing in freedom. So remembering that the brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not. So we're implanting these positive images and feelings affecting the mirror neurons in the gut, the heart, and the brain, which is coagulating in the quantum field and creating our reality. So this is what we call rewiring the brain for conscious creation. So really feeling yourself where you've overcome so many challenges. That's why I use the mountain, at the top of that mountain. And you know you've got what it takes to create a great life. And as you hear these words, let them land in you and keep feeling into, yes, I can do this. I have what it takes. My thoughts, words, and actions are a mirror of my soul. Own it, be it, live it, breathe it, together we Stay within. Feel it. Feel the energy that's moving through your body. Feel the vision that you have of your life, the world that you're creating, that we're all creating together. This new way of being in the world, full of love, thriving health, joy, fun, laughter, acceptance, playfulness, beautiful music, harmony, unity. And know that you do have what it takes to create a great life. Your voice is your very own God-given healing tool, and you have access to it 24/7. Using the sound of your own signature tone is one of the most healing things you can be doing for yourself. And feel how empowering that is. You can be there for you. You can have your own back. You have a voice. It is important and it is worthy. And it is time to stop holding back and allowing yourself to be seen and heard, and know that you are a beautiful and lovable soul. Never doubt that. Never doubt that. And just filling up with white light. And when you're ready, opening your eyes. Letting out a sigh. And can you imagine just dancing and singing to that is just so beautiful. So I hope you enjoyed that, having a direct experience of music. And again, I guess the biggest message from me is just be authentic, be yourself, love who you are. And we're all different, we're all unique, and your voice, it's so important that you acknowledge your voice, because then you're being there for yourself. And being able to set healthy boundaries and truly start co-creating what's important to you and your family. It resonates out. There's so much more to this that is so powerful. So thank you. I've got another little blues song, but we can do that later. I was just going to see what Lorin was up to there.
Oh, I was enjoying your song
Oh,
so
were
much.
you?
That rocks. Yeah.
That wrong?
That's a chant. Yeah. And you know what you're saying about being authentic. That's the issue with imposing meditation practices on ourselves. It might seem beautiful. People will say, they're always saying, "Oh, this is the authentic thing, and this is the true lineage." And if it's not your song, then it's not. It was fine. It was their song. But if it's not yours, then it's not of direct usage, other than like those people came up with a song that was true for them at that time. At least this is the way it sounds in translation. And with translation, it's always like the telephone game. Did everyone know the telephone game where you have somebody say construct a sentence and then pass it on, and 10 times later it's completely the opposite? So it is actually, it happens a lot when people think and they're sincere, they think that I'm going to study meditation, and they wind up losing touch with their authentic voice. It's not their authentic practice. It's very true. That's a beautiful teaching that you found, Julie, and you're representing. It is, and it's the most important thing. Yeah. I love what we calling the classic meditation practices, what I was, the approach that I was describing, the first half an hour, 45 minutes, that actually is the essential teaching of yoga and tantra. The discipline, if you think about it, the highest discipline is to be authentic, is to be true to your voice. One of my students has a beautiful voice, and he teaches a lot. And I woke up one morning, I was in Maui, and I called him out of the blue, and I said, I'm worried about your voice. We hadn't talked in a couple months. And he said he just canceled going into the studio to record because his voice was feeling weird. And I said, I feel like you had some training in the past, and vocal training, and you carried over a habit. And he said, yeah, I had, when I used to sing in a choir, and the choir master had me singing in a key that wasn't my natural voice. Like, in order to be what he wanted for the choir, I was singing out of my own natural range. And it led to vocal injuries. And so in a sense, he was trained to be inauthentic. And it can be a challenge.
It creates tension.
It creates a chronic tension.
Yeah.
So I love the way that you keep coming around to what's your authentic voice.
Because
and
that's
being,
what will, make us happy.
And setting yourself free. What do you have to say and sing? That's so beautiful. I love the path, hearing about your path of your journey of discovery that's led you to being here.
Yes, and I mean, being born into a family that, like, my father had, both my parents co-founded the Spotlight Theatre Review in Southport, which is now the Gold Coast Theatre Company. So I was in the womb when that was happening, and then I was hearing a lot of a cappella singing. So I had this natural ability developed really young to hear music and remember the words and the melody. So I could easily hear a song once and just start singing it. So that was a real gift. And it was a yearning. I mean, I walked away from singing at the age of 10 because of a huge drama and story and lots of limiting beliefs and trauma and stuff. And when I decided to go back into singing in my mid-20s, oh boy, I had that many throat issues because I had held back my truth for so long.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And people think, oh, I can't sing, but just sing, because it's a muscle. It needs to be used, and it needs to be relaxed, and it needs to be, it will open when the mind is not in judgment.
You know, it's so wild. I mean, as I'm listening to you, I'm realizing how people, in their sincere desire to learn how to meditate, they wind up betraying themselves, doing something that's inauthentic for them. Because we need to start first with what's my song, what do I love? And it's like, as I listen to you, and somebody in the chat window or here said something that either they said it or it gave me the thought. It's that I'm here to attune to the music of my soul. And it's like, open to me. I'm here. Teach me how to listen to my own soul chord, music, mantra, hum. I'm willing to listen. I'm listening. I'm rejoicing in the current of life as music. Lead me. you all gave me that, and I'm perceiving it in a fresh way. Thank you.
And you for me, wow. When you said that I was the rebel, I always felt like, you know, within yoga or meditation, being told how to do something that didn't feel natural to me, and then feeling like I couldn't do it, then I would sort of rebel and do my own thing, realizing I had felt this actual physical tangible shift in me when I heard you say that. I thought, oh wow, that, and it was just me fighting for that sort of to be authentic to myself, knowing that this doesn't feel right for me. And
Mm-hmm.
I found that fascinating because when I first started, I was being mentored by a beautiful friend in Kirtan, and I was helping her with her voice. And this is back in 2009. And I remembered feeling so rigid with how they wanted things to be done and how it was to be. And I struggled, but I learned to sit. And the beautiful thing that Kirtan showed me was that singing mantra, when you just singing it over and over and over again, you really do get into this blissful state and everything harmonizes within you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which
There's
is
a thing that's missing. It's there in the, for example, in the Radiance Sutras, you can see that feeling tone. Improvisation, like the way that I learned to be with mantra, what was this improvisational, right, where you let all your senses, hearing and resonance and reverberation, and where do the vibrations go in my body, and then what electricities are aroused by the music, what feelings, emotion, what landscapes, what soundscapes, like the inner soundscapes are evoked. And so each, let's say that my mantra was ah, hum, or ah, oh, hum. There is no repetition. Like I would listen to it pulsate, and each time the sound would rise up from the silence and occur to me, it would be a different sound like I never heard before. And it's quietly thrilling. It's alert to the nuances of each moment. And that is actually the teaching of how to be with mantra. That's actually what meditation is. And if we say concentrate or keep the mantra the same, we're teaching people to lose out on the whole richness. And so um, that's one of the secret keys is giving yourself the freedom to improvise, let the sound change the mantra yourself. Like, oh, I don't like that anymore. There's something else arising in me. Freedom to love. So in actuality, the way that things go, and I guess this is the way of the world, everything turns into its opposite out in the world. Once things become a corporation, things tend to become their opposite. People are being trained to be inauthentic. I mean, I hate saying that since my entire life, since I was 18, has been total devotion to promoting meditation. Just every ounce of my being. And so I have to say that uh, a lot of people would be better off not doing anything formal, just making up their own and singing, chant and sing like what you're saying, and follow your instincts.
absolutely.
And the rebel inside, always listen to any part of you that doesn't want to meditate. And it feels what you said a moment ago, like I feel uncomfortable with that, or I feel like I'm hurting myself. It's unfortunately we can't trust meditation teachers as a crew to hear you. If you say, you know what, that's uncomfortable, the generic instruction is just sit through it. And that's sometimes true.
Yeah.
But even when it's true, it's more important to listen to yourself and sort it out and ask yourself, is this a pain that I need to attend to and relax into, or am I hurting myself? Because like innumerable people around the world have injured their knees by sitting cross-legged when their anatomy is not equipped to be sitting cross-legged as they are. Yeah. And so that's an
Absolutely.
external hurt.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. What's the woman's name whose astrologer said you'll lose yourself? Not Belinda.
Belinda. Yeah,
It is
Belinda.
Belinda. Thank you, Belinda, for sharing that.
Belinda's been wonderful she's on the Sing to Thrive, our healing hub. It's an online school for voice activation and healing those belief systems that cause us to constrict.
Yeah. And Marion Kavanaugh, good to see you before I forget. Now, where are we at with time?
We are.
This is it?
We are.
Should we finish on Should we finish on a song?
Why not? Why not? Finish on a song and then
Lauren, do you want me to finish on that ukulele song I played before?
Yeah.
Let's do that. So
Take
for
it
anyone
from the top, Julia.
Okay, Lauren.
Take it from wherever you want. Take it from the middle. Take it from the second to the last beat.
So anyone that plays an instrument, these are just like it's a blues run. So it's A minor, G, F, E7, right? And it's just what I did was back in the day when I was in my lack consciousness, I was always coming up with mantras that were helping me shift that. And I had the Life is Hard script big time. So I really needed to start embodying that life is easy and joyful. So this is how it goes. Life is easy and joyful. I prosper at every turn. Life is easy and joyful. I prosper at every turn. Come with me. Life is easy and joyful. I prosper at every turn. Life is easy and joyful. I prosper at every turn. One more. Life is easy and joyful. I prosper at every turn. Life is easy and joyful. I prosper at every turn. Hit the road like. We all know where that comes from, that last half. Hit the road lack and don't you come back. No more, no more, no more, no more. So that's just a little taste of what you can do at home with your voice and with a little ukulele. And we have an amazing online school that we run. So if you're interested in any of that, that's at singtothrive.com. Just reach out to me and yeah, we can chat and talk about what your needs are. But I've absolutely loved this experience. I got so much out of what you taught, Lorin, and really gives people permission to relax into their authenticity and not try and be and fit into something else, but listen to their own body. What do I need? What is right for me? And flowing with that and with the music that is in all of us.
So thank you, everyone. This has been very fun and flowing. Oh,
we haven't got.
Yeah.
We can't.
Right. I have to hold the mic now. I'll get
it.
into it. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. This has been very fun.
And thanks, Lauren. Thanks, Julian. Yeah, and we'll send out a email with a link to the recording. It's got a link to Sing to Thrive there, and some of the details of what we've got offering in the Radiance Sutras School of Meditation for everybody as well. So that'll all come as soon as I get in and do something with the recording. So.
Beautiful. Oh, thank
Bye,
you so
everyone.
much, Michael. Thanks, Lauren. Thank you to everyone who came. So much love to you. Ciao.